What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about 21 different altcoins today. I'm going to do the intro a little bit differently. I'm going to keep it condensed and short. I'm not going to go over the list right now. If you want to see the list of altcoins that I'm talking about in this video, go down in the comment or on the description. I should have them all posted there. They won't be timestamps, but I will have the list printed of what coins I talk about in this video. And it'll be in order. Like if you're looking at it, it would be like left column, right column, like in order from the left column all the way down, and then right column, left to right, up and down, if that makes any sense. But anyways, I'm trying to keep the introduction short, I swear. So I'm going to be giving shout outs as I go through instead of going through the whole list right now. And I probably won't explain that again going forward. So if you're watching this video, you'll be aware of it. If not, some people might be like, this is different, but it's like, it's not that big of a difference. I just think it will inevitably save time for the introductions. If we're looking at this for what it's worth, Velo, and I believe it's this one. This one's for the Unleavened Baptist. I believe it's the red one. If it's Velodrome, let me know in the comments, Unleavened. I'll be happy to do another video. TA's TA at the end of the day, but got an Adam and Eve looking pattern here where you've got the nice V, clearly the Adam, and then the U, the Eve. Normally they're double bottoms, but it is kind of two lows, if that makes sense, even though this one is significantly higher. But I think it works as an Adam and Eve. You're looking like you want to break out of it here. You could pull back first, and I wouldn't be surprised if you pulled back. I mean, you're pretty hot on the weekly RSI. You could go higher, of course. You know, being at a 85 is hot, but you could go up to a 95. You know, who knows, past that even. You are right around the breakout point. It just doesn't look like you're having that reaction. So I would think that you pull back from here. Looking at the daily, you do have bearish divergence, and that would be good at least for a move back to about 1 cent. And I would wonder, if we take the relative fib here, probably from this low, from the eve of this Adam and Eve, low to high, I mean, you could be going all the way down to 0.0069 or even a little bit below that. Draw a line here. You know, you've got so much resistance right here and then a little disrespect over here, but there's definitely prices that are significant down at these areas. So 0.006, I'd say, let's see, 0.0061 to 0.0069, somewhere in there. That's probably where you're going to go. Another higher low in this whole series of higher lows, and then up you go. So down for now and then up later. Anyways, that's Velo. Let's talk about, oh, did I pause the music, man? I did. Okay, good. Talking about waves now for Media Idea waves. We'll talk about it on Binance, I think. Yeah. Looking pretty good. I do think it wants to go lower, though. Let's look at the weekly first. Yeah, the weekly RSI is actually really nice. It does leave room to go lower, I will say that, but maybe you go down to the 50, you bounce off there. That's a really strong signal. Somewhere around where you found resistance here, you know, a higher low nonetheless in this kind of trajectory that you have. It's a nice kind of soft curve up. A little bit lower would be okay. And same thing, if you look at the price, it's kind of a very similar situation that you have here. Let's see, high to low. That's okay. Let's see, maybe this. Yeah, maybe anywhere from 230 to 272. The daily, again, does leave room to go down as well with the RSI looking this way. I would think that you see the oversold zone, but you go a little bit lower. I want to look. 123 is sloping upwards. You do have a nice clear turnaround in the directional heading of it. You might go a little bit lower. Having a hard time deciding where I think it's going to go. Low to high, I don't know, maybe go to about 247 to 224. That'd be my genuine expectation, something like that for waves. And then up, the structure does look nice. It's probably just going to have a little pullback for the time being. How long does it take? I don't know. It could take a day, it could take a month, it could take longer. Probably doesn't take that long, though. It probably does happen relatively soon. But one, for Media Idea as well, Harmony. Got another Adam and Eve here. This one's a little bit more textbook. You've got the V and the U. And it's definitely a double bottom. Broke out, back testing the breakout area. That's not a perfectly drawn line, but you can kind of see what I'm going for. This is actually a really bullish phase of consolidation. The weekly RSI does look nice. It does leave room to go down just a little bit, but then you're probably going to start moving up. So I really wouldn't think that you go below, I mean, really too much lower than you are now. If you were, it's going to be short-lived. Looking at the daily, yeah, you're pretty close to this oversold zone. I would bet you do go down a little bit more, but I don't know. I wouldn't say, I mean, maybe you could go down to about $2 or 2.16 cents. You're at 2.6 cents now, so a little bit. It is possible, but it would be weird. It'd be really weird because then you'd be breaking back into this Adam and Eve. I wouldn't think that you would do that, so. But it would also be weird counter to that. It'd be weird to kind of bounce in this area in the RSI, but actually you did that last time. So maybe, I don't know, man, maybe you found your low. Maybe you're not going lower. To me, it would make more sense for you to go up, just like speaking from a pattern basis with the Adam and Eve here. You broke out, you're consolidating. I wouldn't think, this is kind of one of those special circumstances, and you wouldn't want to see it break back in. If it does, I mean, I suppose for this structure, holding, that's not a properly drawn line. Holding this higher low, higher high is nice. You know, even if you did break back into the pattern's breakout point, it's still not bad. Maybe it's an Adam and Eve with a slanted kind of breakout point. I don't know. To my knowledge, the way that you normally do an Adam and Eve would be this, but you can have slanted patterns. It does happen, but you're finding support right there. I don't know. The lowest I would give it, I'm scratching my head on this, but the lowest I would give it is about 2 cents. If not, you might not even be going lower at all. And I think you're getting ready to move higher nonetheless. But again, when does that happen? I don't know. If I was looking to DCA on this thing, it's probably a good area to do that, but it could go down. Just be aware of that, right? Especially with the daily RSI looking that way. But again, in defense to that, you did bounce in these areas before, like multiple times actually. So this is the lowest you've been, but you know, it's the lowest you've been in a while. It might be time to bounce, if that makes any sense. It's a very strong daily RSI. Anyways, that's one. Spent a little time on that. That one was, I think it needed extra attention. Alchemy Pay for Fonzie. If I forget to give shout outs, you guys, I'm sorry. It's a new format. We're seeing how it goes. If you like it, hit that like button. Subscribe if you want to see more, of course. Looking at ACH, same kind of idea. It's in this accumulation phase. This might be like an ascending triangle, if it is a pattern, if it's to be respected as a pattern, but you probably pull back a little bit. Low to high. Come on now, there we go. Yeah, 3 cents, 2.5 cents, maybe all the way down to 2.16 cents. You're at 3.4 cents now. So the 382 at 3 cents, the 618 at 2.16 cents. Weekly RSI was hot, now it's not. Overbought, previous areas of resistance. Flat base, descending highs at this consolidation phase. You've got a descending triangle in the formation of your ascending triangle. The way the daily RSI looks, I would think you go down. So, I mean, based off of this, if this were to hit its measure move from this pattern, yeah, we'd go down to about 1.9 cents actually. And you don't have to hit that pattern. You can exceed it. You can fall short of it, but definitely lower prices is what I would think if we break 3.27 cents on a closing daily basis. If you close below that, probably going down. Let me double check that real quick. 3.2, yeah, I think 3.27 is fine. Technically 3.28, but cents again. But that's Alchemy Pay. Probably down a little bit and then inevitably up as well. I see this as a very bullish phase of like accumulation here since 2022, about the last 2 years, a little over 2 years now. That's ACH. AOT for Celos, you requested Swift coin as well. I made a video on it yesterday, and I see that you had the request. It was either yesterday or the day before, so I wonder if you want me to do that now. I tried to ask in the Discord, but I didn't see anything. Yeah, you haven't responded, but that's okay. I think I'm just going to do this. If you want me to do Swift coin, SW, FTC, just ask again. AOT. Is it AOT? That's ABT. ABT. I'm sorry. Weekly bearish divergence, that would be good for a move back down to about $2. That's not my dog, if you guys can hear that in the video. I don't know whose dog that is. It's annoying though. Maybe you guys can't hear it, but I feel like if I'm quiet, maybe you can hear it. So I'll try not to be too quiet, but I'm also not just gonna, I don't know. I do a good job of filling the air with conversation, I think. Let's see. 2618 rejection. All the way at the high there. That's actually like literally at the tip. That's nice to see on the weekly with bearish divergence. Of course, you're probably going to move back. Generally speaking, you know, with bearish divergence, you do go back to where you formed the divergence, but also you go a little bit through it, in my experience. So $1.82, just a little bit past where that divergence formed, and it's kind of like the likely fib that you would find support on from these extensions. You could go down to about $1.82 is what I'm trying to say. Perhaps you go all the way back down to $1, and you could go all the way back down to your 1618. That'd be the lowest I would give it, which is at about 70 cents there. So it's a pretty big range, $1.82 to 70 cents. It's a very, very big range, but I wonder if we can come up with maybe some other relative extensions here based off of this. Okay, so looking at this, your relative low to high, that 2272 at $1.82 from the kind of bigger fib extension. It's actually right in the middle of this more relative fib retracement at the golden ratio zone. So that $1.82 level does look really nice, I have to say. But to be fair as well, you've got the deep extension, the 1886 lining up with the 1618 down here. You've got other normal regular extensions anywhere between about 88, let's call it 89 cents to $1.15, somewhere around there. Lower, however you look at it, but I'd say I'd feel strongest about that $1.82 level. Perhaps you go down to $1, and if you went all the way down to 70 cents, you'd still be fine, though I think that would be the least likely. But again, looking at that too, from a fib perspective, it makes sense, but you'd be in the middle of nowhere. So I don't know if I see that happening. $1.82, maybe even $1.54 makes sense to me, but I suppose you could find support around $1 as well, because you did have this little check off right before your topping area. Anyways, bearish divergence would dictate at least a move past, or like probably likely around $1.90 or lower. ABT. ABT for CELOS. We're going to talk about HFT for Dirty Beard. Dirty Beard, I'm going to talk about Uniswap in another video. I feel like I've heard a couple people talk about it today, so I think it gets its own video. Not that people have requested it. I've seen it on other YouTube videos today. People have, like, whether they went in depth on it or just brought it up, I don't know. Maybe it's a hot topic, so do an individual video for Uniswap, maybe get more views or something like that. We'll see. Maybe not. Oftentimes those independent videos actually don't get as many views, but that's okay. Once upon a time, these request videos didn't get as many views. It was the individuals that got more, but it depends. It all depends on the topic, you know, and of course the conditions of the markets. More bullish stuff. Anyways, man, talking way too much. HFT for Dirty Beard. Relative high to low here. Finding resistance at the golden ratio, the 618. Finding support at the 382. Also, coincidentally, at the previous kind of topping area that you had here. This does look like an inverse head and shoulders, and I think you might have actually hit your measure move. Maybe. I would think the shoulders goes here. That's probably your break line. Maybe not. That was a little bit short, actually. So you probably do go past that. You probably do go higher, somewhere around like 68 to 79 cents, 80 cents. But first, maybe a little bit more consolidation. Let's look at the daily. The weekly RSI does look really nice, I got to say. Daily RSI also looks really nice. Damn. Yeah, I think you're going up soon, man. This might be the most bullish looking one so far. HFT. Looking pretty good, yeah. You probably want to make a move up to about 68 cents, 80 cents, man. You're at 41.4 cents now. If you go lower, I don't think it's going to be by much. I think you look really good, actually. I'm kind of curious. Let's look at the ribbon real quick on this. Looking like it wants to cross, but this is a good point to just slingshot up, man. You know, you had a false cross down here and moved up. And you had a technical higher low, relative lower low, to be fair, but a technical higher low. The weekly's looking bullish, dude. It's looking like it wants to cross. I mean, it's not that it can't go down here. It just wouldn't make sense in these times for this to slingshot this way. I think you are going to get a legit cross, which would slingshot you to the upside. But anyways, that's HFT. Let's talk about XTZ for Dirty Beard as well. Tezos. Looks like the same pattern, doesn't it? Bullish looking RSI. It's neutral. It's definitely neutral. So is the price action, but it is a symmetrical triangle. And in an uptrend, I would think you break to the upside, Tezos. And that makes sense. You've been in this kind of bullish channel since, I mean, really, since about November. And you're probably, you're just working your way up to this green line. You might break it and then consolidate around it and then continue moving up. You know, it just looks, it looks pretty clean to me. Those lines aren't clean, but just the idea of this price structure. I would think that on the next move up, you probably do break the green line here, which is at about, it's at about $1.57, $1.56. You probably do break that. Oh man, yeah, you might be doing something where you break out of this whole accumulation phase and then come back to consolidate, find support at the breakout point, and then really see this thing take off months later. But up for the immediate term, you're at $1.28. I would guess, let's see. I mean, I would guess probably like around $2 is where you go. High to low, relatively speaking. 1618 all the way up there at $2, man. Previous areas of resistance and support back here. It makes sense to me. It's a very, I don't know, almost like an obvious area, if it makes sense. $1.88, $2.55, anywhere in there also, but $2 kind of right in the middle there. Yeah. $1.88 to $2.55 for a more broad range, but I feel good about that $2 range. Anyways, that's XTZ inevitably going up there, working its way up there now, probably even. XMR for Smooth Operator, doing this one for you on Kraken. Yeah, we'll do it on Kraken. Looking a little bearish on the weekly RSI. I don't like that, but that's okay. You're kind of consolidating at the base of this grand accumulation phase you've been in since June 2022, almost 2 years. Bounced off the oversold zone. You're above the 50. The daily looks better than the weekly. And the weekly really doesn't look good, but I suppose you are capable with this bounce off the 40 area to see some more bullish stuff. But you can just see most of the time in this accumulation phase, you've spent it below the 50. It's definitely been a hard time for XMR. But I think you are working your way. I think you're working your way up, potentially. It looks like a symmetrical triangle of sorts as well, if I can talk clearly. Let's see. Come on now. There we go. High to low, 786 resistance, 382 support, moving up. Tipping the 618 again. Yeah, you're working your way up. I think you're looking good. Probably around 200 to 241 is where you want to go, but that's if you can break out of this accumulation phase. And perhaps with it being about a 2-year-long accumulation phase, you might go higher than that. I mean, you'll probably go higher than that inevitably, but just on this initial move up, whenever you break out, 241 might be where you stop at, but you could go to the 1886. A lot of these do hit that 1886. Maybe even the 2272 up here, both kind of at these topping areas. So it wouldn't be crazy to do that. Anywhere from about 241 to 345 is what I would say this thing wants to do. Once it breaks above about 175. Until then, you're just messing around. But you're at 133 now. You probably move up to about 160, 180. In the coming weeks, coming days, maybe. Probably coming weeks, though, coming months. WTK for Daniel Bandini. BitTrue. Yeah. It reminds me of like XLM and XRP. It's in these like, man, I can't draw straight lines today. There we go. Kind of in these upward sloping channels. You're at the base of it now. You're consolidating around the green line, the 123. You can see it right there. I think you're ready to move up, man. You're probably going to move up, literally just eyeballing it around 70 to 80 cents. Let's see. You're at 7 to 8 cents. You're at 3.2 cents now. High to low. 6.6 to 9 cents. So yeah, somewhere in that range makes sense to me. And of course you could go higher, but based on this channel that you're kind of in, I think 6.6 cents to 9 cents, and probably closer to that 9 cent area is what I would guess for WTK. That's where you're going. And I mean, when do you go there? Again, that's the question. It could be soon. You could be consolidating more, but I don't think you're going to form a lower low than that 2.2 cent area. You probably do. If you were to go lower, it'll be a higher low, so you won't go down too much, but definitely consolidating for the time being. If we look at ANKR for SPUD, talking about this for you, SPUD, looking like you're in the middle of a breakout move. Now this is nice, right? Let's see. So you kind of consolidated right here, right? You had 1, 2, 3 weeks. On the 4th week you moved up. Technically the 5th week you got that separation, but the 4th week you did break out. So that's classic, man. And the 123 right there, consolidating above it after breaking out, finding it for support, and then moving higher. Love to see that. You do have bearish divergence now. Maybe you broke out. Maybe that's not the breakout line. Maybe that's the breakout line. Maybe this is coming in line with this support here. I don't know. And that actually does go like pretty well with these weekly closes over here. I don't know. All I'm trying to say is it wouldn't surprise me if you moved back down probably to around 5 cents. You're at 5.86 cents now with this bearish divergence in play. But we do have 3 days left. Let's see if the week can close green. If it can, it's down about 8% now. So if it can close green, that changes things a little bit. Looking at the daily RSI, I'm not optimistic, but I'm not pessimistic. I mean, I suppose the price action does look bullish still as long as it's holding this structure. But I would assume you probably do see some kind of correction at some point. So, and maybe it takes you to 5 cents. Maybe it takes you lower. Let's see. Relative low to high here. If this is the high, assuming that this is the high. Yeah, 4.4 cents kind of makes sense around there. 4.2 to 4.4 cents. But you could hold support at 5 cents, so I'll just keep it at that. 4.2 to 5 cents, leaning toward that 5 cent area, but I wouldn't be disappointed or surprised if you move down lower. Now, after that, you're probably going to continue working your way up to about 10 cents, 16 cents, 20 cents, new all-time highs. It does look really good. This is a nice phase of accumulation. You're definitely in the point where you're going to be breaking out of this over the weeks and months to come, but this is the weekly time frame, as it has been for a lot of these. I feel like I'm kind of repeating the same thing where I'm calling for things to go up inevitably, but that doesn't mean it's going to happen overnight. It doesn't mean it's going to happen anytime soon. But I mean, 2 months from now, who knows? That if it goes, and it probably will go up in the next 2 months, it'll seem shorter than it is. That's all I'm trying to say, man. ANKR probably down a little bit, 4.4, or I think it was 4.2 to 5 cents, and then up. That's ANKR. Pro, talking about Pro for Cryo C. Shout out to Cryo C. Propy, I think that's right, yeah. It's like a property crypto. They're tokenizing real world assets. For those of you that don't know, you hear this term, it's being thrown around. It's tokenizing real world assets or digitizing real world assets, stuff like that, bringing it onto the blockchain. All that means is, the way that they do contracts on paper, they do deeds, titles, whatever, they will have that in the form of a crypto file, essentially, of a, like, something that's encrypted on the blockchain. You'll have a token for it technically, but really it's just a line of software that's unique to you or to that title or whatever. Whoever owns that owns the title. This Propy Pro, if that's what they're doing with real estate, which I'm pretty sure Cryo C, that's what you're saying they do. It's a real estate token. That's what they're doing. They're selling. The idea would be selling real estate, and then you tie each individual piece to a specific line of code to just make things easier to transact online and across like borders, essentially. That's all it is, right? It's nothing. I mean, it's sophisticated. It's definitely sophisticated in comparison to how things are done now, but it's not. I don't know if I did a good job of explaining that. I feel like I did. At least I made sense to myself, but it might sound off. But when people are talking about tokenized real world assets. When they say tokenizing real world assets, I hear that term being thrown around a lot. They're talking about tying a token, a crypto token, whether it's on the Ethereum blockchain or some kind of blockchain that uses smart contracts, probably. That's what they're talking about. They're just tokenizing, turning it into a crypto. Now, obviously, if there's a house, it's physical. It's not going to turn into a crypto. They're just going to link its deed, its title, its authenticity to a crypto instead of a piece of paper, which can be burned, destroyed, or stolen. Right? That's essentially the purpose for tokenizing real-world assets. Anyways, that's enough of that. Very bullish, yeah. Okay, moving up a lot. Very hot on the RSI though. You're at a 98, 99. I mean, you probably pull back at some point. When is that point gonna be though, dude? This thing is crazy. They say don't catch a falling knife. Well, don't catch a shooting star either, man. Don't go grabbing dragons, especially the green ones, by the tail. They will turn around and burn you. With that being said, I don't know if it's a good time to sell. I suppose it is ideal to sell in the high 90s on any RSI, but you could go up another 40%, 100% from here. Who knows? You are at the areas of resistance that you've been before. It would kind of make sense to turn around from here. I wonder what you did from your high to your low. Dropped 95%, guys. Right? This is what getting listed on Coinbase does. You dropped 95%. Look at the massive, beautiful recovery you're having. You probably do find resistance in this area. Where are you going to go? You do have double bearish divergence showing itself, though it's not confirmed yet. Top to bottom at the 1618, man. You tipped it perfectly. But you found support on the 1272. That daily RSI is set up to go down, but it's also set up to go up more. I mean, maybe you do go to like 445, 534. If not, it really wouldn't surprise me if you took a turn from here. And if you were to take a turn from here, I mean, looking at the price for what it is, the next area that I would expect to find support would be around like $2, right? Assuming that we have the high and we don't go higher, which it's very possible we do have the high. It's also pretty possible that we could go higher, as high as 534, maybe 445. But assuming that's the high, you know, even $1.26 is on the table. But let's see if we were to move this. I don't know. It doesn't make sense to me to find support at the 382, but I wouldn't think you go all the way back down here. I mean, theoretically, I suppose, anything's possible, and going back to your 618, forming a higher low doesn't look bad, but I kind of think you'd hold that, if not $2, $1.40, somewhere in that area. That's all I got for Pro. Yeah. Let's see. Talking about OJ token for Diesel Killer. Diesel Killer hitting us with the real ones, man. No, I don't know. I don't know about this, man. Let's see. OJ token. Dojo token. Maybe I just got to do OJ. Gently used leather gloves. Is it OJ Simpson? I'm going to assume it's OJ Simpson. Gently used knife. You see these people are ruthless. Rip OJ. Which one has the most volume? How about that? Diesel Killer. We're going to do the one that has the most Wait, whoa. Did I just see? I thought I saw one that said 8 million. 48. Oh, that's Shork. Okay. Not the. All right. 5.3 million. Gently used leather gloves. Probably would be the one to look at. Yeah, that's the one we're going to go with. So gently used leather gloves. We're going with this one. It had a massive pump at probably the release of the news that OJ passed, and it has since dumped. It's probably an abandoned hope, every man for himself project at this point. Stay away. Do not get involved. And if it's not this one, Diesel Killer, I'm sorry, you got to be more specific, because there are a ton of OJ tokens, but I'm sure he doesn't really care, so it's I don't think it's that big of a deal. Zeus is the next one on KuCoin. New. I think I remember you saying it was new. Flower Child. I think I remember you saying it was new. Okay, we'll use it on KuCoin. I'll look at the 4 hour. Very new, so TA is not going to be of the most help. Looking at the chart, I wouldn't be surprised if you bounced from here. But again, it's so new, who knows how low you go. You know, you really could go a lot lower from the relative high to the low. You only dropped 40% and it's new. I mean, we just saw the other coin that got listed on Coinbase. It dropped 90% from its relative high. But for the price action that you have on this chart, you probably do find support here, and you probably move up to about 82 cents. You're at 73 cents now. Now, does that result in you going higher or lower? I don't feel comfortable saying. I don't feel confident saying. Higher from here, yes, but how much further? The 1 hour RSI doesn't look too good. It actually kind of looks like you would want to go down. Maybe you do even go below this again, and then you move up to this area with like triple bullish divergence supporting you there. I don't know. 30 minutes left in this hour. You're only down not even 1%, so you really could turn it green, but I don't know. Too new for me to really feel confident. I really wouldn't be surprised if you did interact with this 82 cent, maybe even 85 cent area. That's Zeus. Whether you go up after that or down, I don't know. Next one is for Elijah went up. We're talking about Poon, otherwise known as Poon. We are talking about some Poon. $1.7 million of Poon. That's probably the one that we're talking about, I would assume. 1 hour token, very new. Stay away from it. It probably does well because of the name, and then it probably does bad. I don't know. Who knows, man? This could be the next big thing. I don't know anything about it, but I'm not going to put my money into it. But to be fair, I mean, with what it's got going right now, which isn't that much, it probably does move up. Probably does. But how much higher? Like, yeah, 1.5 cents. Do you go up to 2 cents and then turn around? I don't know. Go up to 20 cents and then turn around? I really don't know. Too new to say. I'm sure you don't really care, Elijah, so we're going to move on from there. YFI, Yearn Finance on Coinbase. Consolidating. It does look like a descending triangle with the flat base and the descending highs here. It does look like a descending triangle. But I don't think it's going to break out to the downside. I think you're going to move out to the upside. With these patterns, they do have like a 40% chance to perform in the not expected direction. 60% is still the majority chance that we do go down, but there is still a large chance that we hold and go up. The way the RSI looks is pretty damn bullish to me, actually. I mean, it's weak, don't get me wrong, but you're not seeing the oversold zone. You hate it. You have no problem being overbought, right? No problem. But you have a serious problem being oversold. So I love to see that. I think the fact that you've been in this, you're in a bearish pattern, but you're still showing, moderate strength, I should say. Enough strength to not get oversold. The ball's in the bull's court if they can break this kind of trend line here. So just get up and you'll probably move. You're at 8,500 right now, essentially. You'd move up to about 12.3, 12.4K, maybe even all the way up to about 14K itself or higher. And probably that or higher would come into play. I would actually think you might, if you were to break this, and I think you will break it to the upside, I think you're going to be making a move up to about 17 to 22K in the near future, you guys. And this goes back to the ribbon here, the weekly ribbon. If you look at it for what it's worth, it did just have a bullish cross. It did. So, and you're finding support on it now. This is actually a really good thing. I know it might seem weak, but I mean, if you look at it for what it is, you guys, YFI is in this great kind of accumulation phase. It's at the top of it. It's about to break out. Good things are coming its way. That weekly RSI looks really nice. And again, the daily is very resilient. So consolidating until you're not, whenever you see it break out, you'll know. It'll be above, it'll be above $9,000 again. It's only $500 away from there now. YFI looking frisky. Probably a good one to get into, honestly. It's, I don't normally feel like I'm missing out on anything unless it's from like at least 2 cycles of age. But, I suppose this would be its second bull cycle technically. But 2 full, bulls and bears. But this one, I wish I actually had some. I wish I had some YFI because I think this will do well. $8,486. I think it can be worth $1 million, guys, by the end of this cycle. Which a 10x from here would be 800,000, or no, that'd be 80,000, 84,000, and then 100x would be 850,000 roughly. So definitely a 100xable coin by the end of this cycle. $1 million sounds nuts, I know, but it checks out. It really does check out with the market cap valuation and everything. Don't sleep. Don't sleep on YFI. You guys, if you haven't already, hit that like button. Subscribe if you want to see more content from me, of course. I feel like I'm a little bit lackadaisical today, so if you've noticed that, you know, I'm not going to apologize for it. That's just kind of the way it's going, though. I feel kind of lackadaisical, but sometimes I feel that way. You know, I'll go back and look at the videos, and you can't really tell. It's just in my head. But Wojack on the weekly. We're talking about this one for, where are we at here? Mug Music. YFI we talked for Layarde or Lagarde. I don't remember. I don't know how to pronounce that. But Wojack and COQ for Mug Music. Wojack with the bearish divergence already played out. Yeah, it's probably done going lower. You probably look to move higher soon. If you were to go lower, I would think you probably hold support around 0.00031 around that area, 0.00031 around there. But you might have found your low already. In fact, I would say that you probably have, and you're looking to move up. Where are you going to go? I mean, you might be starting a journey up to about 0.0011 to 0.0015. You're at 3041 right now, so looking good on Wojack. COQ, and I could be wrong, you know. None of this is financial advice. I could be wrong, and I will be wrong. It's inevitable, you guys. It's inevitable. Every time I make a play, I always consider that I could be wrong. You know what I mean? So don't hear me talk about these things and think that I have to be right, because I can absolutely be wrong. And I will be wrong. I've been wrong before, I'll be wrong again. I've been right before, I'll be right again. But with that being said, on the daily RSI, I kind of would expect that you go lower, but a lot of these things are holding this kind of area, aren't they? Oh, man. And I wonder. No, I mean, you kind of broke that. Okay. Yeah, you probably go lower. Probably. If not, you're going to turn around real soon. But down to about 5029, probably a little bit lower than that. That'd be my thoughts. That's probably where you go, COQ. Turbo for Lifted Ape is the next one. Descending triangle kind of pattern. Neutral, bullishly postured daily RSI. Weekly also looks pretty damn bullish, but you could move down. You're at 3008 essentially. You could move down to 3048. That wouldn't be crazy. Four, 5, 3039, even there. Wouldn't be crazy at all. You are holding that 382 area though, but you've been rejecting the 236, ping-ponging, man. I'd say if you break above 3094, you are moving higher. However, if you break below 307123, you're going lower. And when I say break, I mean a weekly close or multiple days closing above or below those lines. So until then, you're just ping-ponging, man. And I would think, given that it's a bearish pattern that you're presenting right now, I would think you want to move down, potentially. 4-hour RSI kind of suggests you want to go lower. I don't know. I think if you were to go up, you would have gone up on this attempt here, but you didn't. So ball's in the bear's court. But again, if you can break above 3094, which would mean multiple days closing or a week closing above the 236 there from this relative low to this relative high, then I would turn bullish. But until then, I think you're probably moving down to about 3045 area. That's turbo. And then inevitably up. This is a bullish structure. Absolutely, it's a bullish structure. It's a very new chart, so take everything I say with a grain of salt. Going back to what I was just saying a second ago, I can be wrong, but it does look pretty good for what it's worth. So that's turbo. CQT, and then we're going to finish this up with Zen. Yes. Covalent. Have we talked about Zen? No, we haven't. All right. Covalent looking good. I remember talking about this back in the day, man, not too long ago. Shout out to Santa for putting this one up on the board. But we're talking about this for IDTT7Y0, I believe. We're talking about this one for you. It's a very nice, it's almost like an Adam and Atom, actually, or maybe it's an Eve and an Atom. This is absolutely an Atom, but I suppose, you know, it could be an Atom. I don't know. Definitely a softer Atom if it was, but it kind of does look like an Atom, but it also kind of looks like an Eve. I don't know. Either way, a more bullish formation. Definitely finishing with an Atom is more bullish most of the time. V-shaped recoveries are one of the strongest movements that you see. It looks like you're pulling back to find support at your breakout point, but you already did that. So maybe you're just finding support at this previous area of resistance here. I want to look at the daily. Yeah, you know, again, man, all these things look the same. They look like they want to go down to the oversold zone, but with how resilient the market is, I would put my money on it's likely that we could hold this area for support. I'm drawing horrible lines. I can't draw a straight line to save my life today, but you know, we've held this area before. We even found support on it, kind of right there, and even back here. I'm going to leave it up to the bulls, man. I think you really could move up higher. Low to high here, 61869 area, yeah. You get above 33.5 cents, I think it's on to new highs. I mean, new relative highs at least, high to low, if that is your low. If not, you go a little lower. These numbers get bigger, but 55 cents to 68 cents is on the horizon, if not higher, maybe $1. You're at 25.5 cents now, Covalent, and inevitably, I think this thing can go higher. I haven't looked too much into it, but you guys, that's a really nice structure, and the volume profile afterwards, like it's interesting to me. Volume's picking up, right, as you're moving away from this very bullish bottom. I like it. This kind of stuff is awesome, and I wish I got in. I had the opportunity, I think, to get in before here, before this move here, but I had my funds tied up elsewhere, so that's okay. You can't catch them all, man. I don't like to be too spread out either. I feel like I'm already super spread out, but everybody does it different. You know, for anybody that's wondering, if you're here, you stay till the end. First off, hit that like button, and secondly, you know, you'll hear people say you need to be more diversified, you need to be less diversified. You know, whatever works for you is fine. If you only own one thing, it's a little bit risky, in my opinion. You leave yourself open to the exposure of a few things, right? One, if it's bad, that's bad exposure on a financial standpoint, but two, it could expose your emotions. If you're seeing other things take off while this thing is moving down, or it's moving sideways, or it's moving up less, it can kind of take a toll on your emotions. You might feel like you're in the wrong project. You buy the thing that's pumping the most, and then the coin that you held all along that you were just in solely, it moves up without you. Instead of playing that whole emotional game, it's nice to just kind of be spread out amongst a few coins. At least I think so. But if you find more solace in holding just one coin that you really believe in and you believe is going to go far, it's not just some random piece of crap coin that came out the last day or two, or really in the last cycle. I mean, maybe the last cycle. There's some that are good looking, but I would want 2 cycles or more. Something that you can have faith in. Then I think it's okay to own one. But again, not a financial advisor. Do what you want, do what you're comfortable with. But I think for me, at least 5, like spread out to at least 5 different assets. Choose like what your favorite ones are. I'm spread out in about 10 to a dozen different coins right now, and that's what I like. That's personally my favorite, something like around there. If I had 20 or more coins or stocks and everything all together, I would feel a bit overwhelmed, and I'd probably condense it more into a smaller amount. But I mean, it all depends. I don't know. I feel like as time goes on, I tend to spread out more, so maybe inevitably I will branch out. But man, I am beating around the bush to finish up this last request here. Zen Horizon for Gassen Fairs or Gas San Fairs. I don't know. Or maybe it's Gassen Fades. I don't know. We're talking about it for you though. Zen Horizon Coinbase. Looking at it here. Accumulation zone. Finding support on a previous area of relative resistance. Yes, you are. At least that's what it looks like. Potentially finding support at the 50 area on your RSI, on the weekly RSI. Daily RSI looks like you'd find support at this area too. So if you're not at your low, I would think you're very close. You're at 11.35 now. I don't think you'd go below $10, though if you did, I suppose it'd be just a very small amount. And inevitably, you probably move higher. On this next attempt up here, I would think you get that breakout move that you're looking for, and that could take you up as high as $20. You're at 11.35 now. Maybe it's the move that takes you all the way to the promised land of $32 and beyond. Once you break above this $20 area, 20, let's call it 23. Once you break above there, I think things are really going to start doing well for you. I think you have a lot of potential with this one. It absolutely could see new all-time highs. I think it will. Inevitably, top to bottom, you'll probably move all the way up to like $332, $1,000. You're at $11 now. So there's a lot of potential in this thing for sure. And it could go higher, but that's all I got for the day, you guys. If you like the video, hit that like button. As far as the winner goes, I don't know. YFI, maybe. YFI is probably the one that has me the most interested, but that might be a biased opinion. So there's a few winners on this one for sure, but we're going to give it to YFI with Lagarde or Laharde or Layarde. I don't know. I don't know if that's a G or a Y, but it's Lagarde, and if it's not a G, it's a Y. But you got the win tonight with YFI. You guys hit that like button, subscribe if you want to see more. I am going to just talk more about what I was saying a second ago real quick, which is that, again, diversify in whatever you want. You can be diversified in one thing. You can have, and you can do it different ways too. You could be 90% in one thing, and then the other 10% of your portfolio is in 20 different things, like spread out like that. If you're watching this, I think this would be an interesting kind of project. Do it if you want to, don't do it if you want to, but I've done this before. I didn't play off of my investments like this, but I paid attention to it. Actually, I did play off it in one of my investments, Dogecoin. But anyways, what I'm trying to talk about is draw a list of 5 coins or 10 coins that you're pretty positive will do well this cycle. If you don't know 10 coins or you don't know 5 coins, you're new, or you don't branch out, you don't look for other coins, look into some, come up with 5 to 10 that you think would be worth investing in. Like if you had no other option, you had to evenly disperse into 10 coins. Even if you had one that was your favorite, but you had no option, you have to evenly disperse into 10 coins. Write your list down and write it in order of what you think is the best one to the worst one that's probably going to perform wise. I would bet that the one that you would expect does the least well probably does the best, if not something in the top 3. And then the one that you think is going to do the best, it probably does lower than the mid-range. It probably goes to like the 6th best or 7th or lower, something like that. Just food for thought. Sometimes it's the ones that you are less certain of that do the best, I'd say even oftentimes, and it's the ones that you're the most certain of that don't necessarily do the worst. I mean, maybe they do, but they can still do good. They might not perform as well as you expect, right? So a little food for thought there, a little fun game if you want to try it yourself. It works, man. It works. At least I think it does. But not financial advice. That's all I got for you guys. So if you like the video, hit that like button. Subscribe if you want to see more. Thank you all for coming. I'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.